Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the weekly news and review for January 21st, 2024, 2024. And of course, there's a lot of Transformers news for Masterpiece Legends and Mainline. And I like to start off with a picture of Transformers. Do you see a Transformer there? Okay, how about a Transformer right there? Yeah, we got some pretty good news in Transformers this week. More of the Turtle crossover stuff. Now, not exactly for me, but it's really interesting to look at this stuff, and it's pretty cool. They're coming out with more pictures of these figures. We actually got some more G.I. Joe news. Quite a bit of code names out there that I haven't deciphered yet, but it's still kind of fun to see more of this stuff coming down the pipeline. A bunch more miscellaneous stuff, but there's actually some real Star Wars news this week, and we're going to talk about it and more coming up. Alright, so starting out with what's new at Show Z, I do want to say thanks to Heads Up we got in the comments there that they're actually carrying this Dason Toys Bravestarr, and that's at Gundamit, not actually Show Z, Gundamit.com, but it's all the same, but it's just a different site. You log in with your Show Z. Anyhow, $44, and it should be coming into stock pretty soon. This appears to be in stock right now. This is the Unique Toys Sworder Sandstorm. A lot of people like this character. This is the only Masterpiece one out there, and the only one that I see even in the works. So if you want a Sandstorm on your Masterpiece shelf, $79. For whatever reason, the Dr. Wu McFans Toys version of Sandstorm for Legends scale, it's a decent Sandstorm. It's in blue, and it's half price, or almost half price, $20. And I don't know how I missed this news, but DX9 is making a G2 version of their Minotaur. Yes, they're reissuing the standard one, and then they're starting with G2 versions. I guess you have to buy them all individually. You can't buy it as a box set. It would be nice to be able to buy it as a box set. Anyway, $69 starting with Dead End. So it's tough to even figure out where to start with the Masterpiece this week, because there's some good stuff going on, and this is Takara's MP58 hoist in hand images. You don't even have to come up with a third-party name because it's the official. And there, it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good overall. I think it still has kind of that side gappiness. I don't really have a good picture showing it, but it's not as noticeable. And of course, this character has way more kibble than the Trailbreaker one. I mean, this standard character itself is designed with more kibble, and I think they pulled it off looking pretty good. It doesn't look too dumpy or weird, but it does match the animation model really well. Here's an alt mode comparison. I think it's kind of fun to see it side by side with what they've already done, and why is the windows down on this green truck mode. I'm not really sure, but still, it really does capture the look of the truck. And yeah, it works. It works. Looks pretty good. Got it on mine on pre-order, and kind of look forward to it. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this 3.0 MDLX Skywarp next. It's just, we've seen the Starscream. I guess we've seen the Thundercracker, so now we get to see the Skywarp. And so this should be up for pre-order now at places that you pre-order this stuff. But pretty cool. It's about 7.8 inches tall. It's not Masterpiece, but it is in that sort of realm. It's not mainline. It's bigger than mainline. Sort of in the middle, but looks pretty cool. If you're into it, you might want to look for pre-order on it. People are saying that this is a possible movie Masterpiece Brawl. And all the weird colors on it obviously doesn't match the colors it's going to look. This is just kind of whatever color plastic they have to inject in it to test it out, but that's probably what this is, and looks pretty interesting. Will be also interesting to see this project when it's done. RoboSyn is teasing a Megatron, and I don't know if this is supposed to be the picture of the Megatron that they're teasing. Anyhow, I'm curious to see how this automatically transforms into a gun and then back to a robot. That is just, I can't wait to see it. Oh, it's not going to transform into a gun? It's going to transform into a tank? Or is it just going to walk and talk and do all that kind of stuff? Anyway, this is their teaser. This is their next project. Alright, now that I've got some tabs cleared up, I can get into some other stuff, make it a little bit easier. This is the Pangu Toys 18-inch Magic Square Masterpiece Optimus Prime upscaled to 18 inches. And that's what it looks like next to one of the most recent Magic Square I just reviewed. And it looks great. It looks fantastic. And actually, looking at all these pictures here, I'm seeing I think it looks better than anything Magic Square's already put out. The colors work, everything works on it. The only problem is I don't know what I would do with an 18-inch Optimus Prime. I just don't need it. But I'm so tempted because it looks so good. It's a really good mold. But I don't need it, so I'm not buying it. I'm just telling myself I'm not buying it. As awesome as it looks, but it looks amazing. And there's other stuff they can do with it. They've got light up eyes and probably the Matrix Chamber and stuff. So there's a much great stuff going on. Also, look how big this is in alt mode. That is a Legend scale Megatron. Obviously, it's New Age, but New Age runs a little small, but still it looks really good. Here's size comparisons from smallest to largest, and as you can see right next to, and I think that's an MP10. That's the next size down from it. And then we get to see this. This is a really nice comparison, and it's still nothing though compared to the Lewin Resources. That's 24 inches, but 18 inch. I mean, it's interesting. I'm curious if people get this, how they're going to display it and what they're going to do with it. And it's like $164 over at Show Z. All right, so my prayers are now being answered, but I just don't know how to get them answered. The truth be told, there's a 3D printed kit to put with your Oimek Abominus, and I hope it makes it bigger. I think it makes it bigger than the rest of them, but it should scale it up a bit bigger. I don't even know where to buy this kit. I would be all over it if I could, if I knew where to get it, because I've got the set, but I feel it's too small. But if you can make it bigger and you can work it with your 21-inch figures, that'd be great. I don't know if it scales it up that much. And here it is, sort of, you get to see it next to what I think that is the Magic Square version of Bruticus, so you can kind of get an idea. So 9 inch is the Magic Square, so this takes it to not much bigger than what we're seeing with sort of like MMC and that kind of stuff. But still, I would like to see a kit that took it to the full-on, 21 inch. All right, so this is the Mecha Invasion Giant Legion. This is a reimagining of Devastator, and it's cool because it swaps the arms and legs around. Now, the information on this, I'm not sure if you have the choice to Scramble City it, because that's the feeling I get from looking at it. There's not a lot of information yet, but can you Scramble City it and just put a leg where an arm goes, an arm where a leg goes? Because historically with Devastator, you have to put the leg exactly in that one spot, and that's it. And the arms might be interchangeable, but each leg has to go in their same spot. So with this, if it went Scramble City, that's an interesting way to go, but it might actually be like this traditional Devastator. The arms have to go on, and the legs have to go on as legs, and that might be how it goes. Anyway, let's look at the rest of this. There it is with the bots, and they don't look that bad. That's not a horrible looking team right there. Definitely a different route to go with some of these, and some of them look very similar to past iterations we've seen. And here are the construction vehicles, which all look pretty much spot on, pretty much exactly what they're supposed to look like. Seems like they nailed the vehicle modes really well. Giant Legion Mecha Invasion. I have to say this Kang Toys Steg Sorrow, their take on Dinobots, looks really fantastic, actually. I am more surprised now that you see it with paint, you see it in real life, and it's not just renders. I mean, a render is a render. It's going to look a certain way. Bring it into reality and looking this good. So I'm impressed with how it looks. It is definitely a stylized take, but it looks very sleek. It almost looks a bit futuristic in a way, but really good. I mean, they've done good work with their Predaking, and then their mini Predaking, I think, is even better than their Masterpiece Predaking. That's my belief. That's the way it looks to me. And I've got a few of these. I got a couple of the Masterpiece and a couple of the Legends, but I haven't built either Predaking yet, so I might actually do the mini Predaking. Here is the alt mode for Steg Sorrow. Steg Sorrow? Is that what it is? But it looks cool too. It's pretty interesting. They do kind of have that back cannon thing going on, which they did with their Predacons. Cool looking. Oh, we got more pictures of the Touch Toys Hellbird, and this is kind of a military-looking vehicle. Looks like a missile launcher kind of deal going on. Now, the thing on this, doors open, all these doors, little compartments open. There's a lot of cool stuff that they did with it. It's pretty interesting. And then we've got showing that you can move the missiles up. The launching missiles kind of thing going on right there. And that's interesting. You can see all of the detail that's going into it. You got the hydraulic lift going on with it. So they are putting quite a bit into this. And what does it turn into? What does it look like? It looks like this. And all those missiles go on his back. So that's pretty cool. Overall, we've seen this before, but this is probably a prototype. It's getting closer to being done. And up there it says 2035. I don't think it's going to take till 2035 to come out. That's called Fans Toys Combiners. All right, on to some Legends news. I don't have a lot of Legends news. I have some Legends news, but this is the DX9 Mini Michael Murphy, and looks really good. Here's the thing. A lot of people really do complain about the alt mode. They hate the alt mode. But I'm going to tell you, in my collection, it's going to see the alt mode during a review, and it's never going to see it again. I do think it's cool with the Headmaster gimmick, but this bot mode looks fantastic, and I think it is leaps and bounds above what was it, Unique Toys, and then McFans Toys upscaled it. McFans Toys upscaled that, and so now we just get this, and it's just a modern iteration, and I think it looks pretty good. Still kind of curious what the Fans Toys Masterpiece one looks like. See, Emperor Poseidon. This is not the Cyan Culture one, I believe. I believe this is the other one, and it seems to be moving faster than the Cyan Culture. And I think they're reading the writing on the walls, and they're saying, hey, we need to get ours out before they get theirs out. But I might be wrong. This might be the same project, but I think they're two different projects. Anyway, it looks good. I want to say about Trypticon. Trypticon, in my mind, was always cooler in the base mode. I always liked the base mode better than the Dino mode. Just, I don't know. It's just me. Maybe I'm the only person that feels that way. But looking at this, I mean, this is a really cool looking base mode. And I'm impressed with it. I think it looks good. I mean, obviously the colors are going to change up a little bit once it's finalized and done. This is prototype, but I think they did a good job with it. And with that, it looks good. All right, so we got quite a bit of mainline news going on this week, and I gotta lead off with saying I think this is the biggest news in a small package. The previous version of this guy, of Gears, that was made by Hasbro, was not very good, and it was commanding like $80 on the secondary market once it came and went. And with that, I was shocked, because I remember people clamoring to get one after they were selling out at the stores and online and all that, and it still was not that good of a figure. This looks good. This does look a lot like the Bad Cube version, and for $25 versus like Fans Toys 100, Fans Toys probably definitely looks a little more like the cartoon, but this still could almost be a Masterpiece stand-in. It looks that good, in my opinion, from where I'm seeing it. I mean, if you don't have the Fans Toys or the Bad Cube, I mean, this could be your stand-in. Will be fun to get this and take a look at it. I don't review much mainline stuff, but I might, because this is pretty cool looking. So we got some pictures of the 40th anniversary retro reissue Soundwave in-hand images, and I want to say this is really what has been talked about a lot by a lot of collectors, that they feel like this is a cheap out way, like a much cheaper version than what we've gotten in the past for other reissues, and especially much cheaper big cop out versus the original G1. But it's supposed to look like the movie and all of that. Oddly enough, I think a lot of people actually buy it, or they go after it, or it's just made in really small numbers because the mold exists already and they've recently made it, so a production run of the lowest quantity they can do. I'm not sure why, but these are selling pretty well and they're hard to find. Although vocally in the community, a lot of people don't particularly care for it, but it's cool for what it is. But I'm kind of just happy with the last release they had, and of course the vintage one. But it still looks cool, and if you want to pick one up, I don't even know what the price is on these, but it's interesting. It's got different coloration. Here is the Ravage, and just kind of getting the same idea here. The Ravage does look a lot more like the cartoon coloration wise. So as a kid, I probably would have picked the one on the left versus the one on the right. As an adult collector, I mean, I kind of like the one on the right, but you can kind of see the difference here, so it makes sense. All right, so we've got this picture here, which kind of confuses me. It says a Studio Series B Bumblebee movie, Deluxe Sunstreaker. So we're going to get this, and we're going to get an Earthrise Sunstreaker. So we get two different versions of the same character in a relatively short time, because that new pack's coming. We're going to see something for that. So It's a little confusing to me that they're doing that, but still kind of cool. Interesting that they're making it, and that's what he looks like in bot mode. His alt mode does look a lot different, too. It's not exactly a Lambo, but there it is. Anyhow, this just quite interesting that they would do two takes of the same character at the same time. But we'll see which one sells better. So in contrast to that, here is the Trailbreaker, and they're showing that they're just putting out the same old Trailbreaker in what they consider movie coloration, and personally, I like the original one better. I like the jet black better than this kind of a pastel gray they have going on. But if you missed out on the first one, then this is probably a more affordable way to get this character, and it's one of those things, like you're going to get this set of, I'm still unsure. Is it going to be 5 in this set? Are there going to be multiple 2-packs? Because it's still cloudy out there on what really is going on. And of course, there's not pre-orders just yet, so it's hard to tell. We'll probably find that on the 23rd. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But anyhow, this Sunstreaker and a Wheeljack, a few others are going to be put out in multi-packs. But there is the bot mode on this guy. We're looking at the alt mode here. So pretty much really nothing has changed but the coloration and the day. Now nothing changed but day. So looking at them side by side, I mean, which one do you prefer? The original or this new quote unquote more of a movie style, cartoon accurate? I still like the first one more. Okay, so TFW 2005 has put together this little collage, and according to JT Prime 17, that there is going to be a whole lot of stuff going on. There's going to be the Transformers Selects Deluxe 3-pack with Treads, Pathfinder, Smallfoot. They're calling that a GoBots set, or at least that's kind of the unofficial title to that, and they're literally just recoloring existing figures to make them like GoBots. I gotta tell you though, I'm not gonna fall for Pathfinder Cosmos as a Pathfinder. That's just not gonna work for me. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Target Transformers Bumblebee Generation 2-pack with Ratchet and Brawn Battle Damaged. That'll be interesting to see what's coming out. And then Transformers Optimus Prime and Autobot Bullseye. Then that's going to be a reuse of Laser Optimus Prime. Then Walmart's going to have a Generation Retro Optimus Prime. So we'll see how that goes. And then they're going to have Generation Retro Bombshell and Ramhorn, which will be kind of interesting. Then there's also Legacy Seeker Deluxe Road Pig, which is a retool of Crash Bar. And then we have Voyager Bludgeon and Deluxe Ruckus in Amazon's Mayhem Attack Squad. Capsule will consist of 3 multi-packs, which is a total of 7 figures, so 5 more figures remain a mystery. And then a Legacy United Leader Soundwave with an Earthrise Soundwave tooling. Lots of cool stuff going on with this, and it'll be interesting to see all this, but I think all this is going down Tuesday the 23rd. There's going to be a live stream on Tuesday the 23rd, and it's going to be Hasbro live stream, but it's not Transformer specific, it's not G.I. Joe specific, it's not, they're just saying it's a live stream. So we'll see what goes on Tuesday. Alright, so pre-orders went up for the Legacy United Leader Armada and the Tidal Wave. And on the back of the box it showed the Galvatron, which I guess hasn't been shown just yet, and how the parts can go on Galvatron. Now, this is interesting for a lot of reasons, because there was actually a story from Kapow Toys, and I think they're based out of the UK, but I've heard some bits and pieces about this story where they're not going to stock this Tidal Wave because of the fact that Hasbro Pulse and Hasbro are trying to milk the community for these, and then they go on clearance down the road, and basically Kapow Toys gets stuck with it, right? They get stuck with this, that what does something that doesn't sell. It's a $200 price point item, and then they end up losing money on it. And they said they're not stocking it. That's my understanding of the situation. And they just came out and said, just wait, because it's going to go on sale for half price down the road, probably like all the other ones have. But it's strange, because I've never heard a retailer that has a good relationship with Hasbro that says something like this. But it's probably true. I don't know. I haven't pre-ordered it. I don't plan on getting it unless I see it on sale. And if I miss it, if I don't catch it on sale, It's not the end of the world to me. But if you're really in on it, though, I mean, I don't think they're producing as many as they used to. So there is the massive, giant Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal statue put up in Peru. So they've done these for the Rise of the Beast movies. I'm not sure if this is a new one or they're just moving around an old one. I don't have those old pictures to compare it to, but it's still pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. I would love to see something like this in person, even though Rise of the Beast is probably not my favorite Transformers movie and the way they went with it, but wouldn't it be cool to see like a G1 Prime like this? All right, in other Transformers news here, this is Ramen Toy making a transforming, and I'm just going to say it, T-Bob. I mean, this is fantastic. I've seen some 3D printed T-Bobs that look a lot like the cartoon that are just action figures. But a transforming T-Bob, it's awesome. Now, I did ask Ace what the scale is because it looks bigger than the original scale. He's classifying this as a non-scale. He's not putting it with 1/18th or 1/12th or 1/24th, but he's saying that they made it as small as they could and everything still work and it be usable for you to actually open and close the flaps and transform it and do everything with it. Because if they made it any smaller, it would just be impossible and the QC would be a nightmare. So this is as small as they can go and it still function properly. And the reality of it is I'm excited. I'm going to have to be very careful not to order 6 of these because I love the idea of it. And I couldn't think of a better project for them going forward. Like, what would be a better project? I don't know. I mean, this is for the Machina line, for Mask fans. I think this really is it. And the fact that it's white with a white background makes it really hard to see. But maybe I could darken them up in editing or something. But it looks really cool. It looks perfect. I mean, it looks exactly like I'd want. And it's really exciting to see this. I'm not sure if Scott's going to accompany it or if it's coming all by itself or all on its own. But really exciting stuff. And this is not even the end of it. There's still more news this week coming out of Ramen Toy. And that is that they are going to start their first 1/18th scale Rex. And this is, they're going to do the Piranha, they're going to do the Rex, or whatever code name they put out with it. And they said they want to start small. They want to start small and just see how that goes. The thing is that so many people ask for a 1/18th scale. And it's a 1/18th, say, Rhino would be tough, real tough. Now, it'd be big. But it's not out of the question, actually, because of their model and the way they work and the way they operate, that it's possibility. So, but they are starting small. We'll see how it goes. I'll be in on it, of course, to check it out. But the work they've been doing is phenomenal, and I'm in on this. Would they redo the whole line? They said, no, they're not going to redo the whole vintage line, but they are going to give you the big hitters for sure, and I'm excited for this. All right, so it's been a while since I've talked about G.I. Joe Classified, and that's simply because they blitzed us with a ton of news and tons of pictures and pre-orders, and then it just kind of not much has happened, which is fine because if we got it all at once, that would be damaging to the pocketbook. But early 2024, so we're supposed to be getting January 15th Mutton Junkyard. I found it at Target, and yeah, it was painful because when you see Croc Masters for $12 and then you're paying $45 minus the red card discount at Target. But you're paying $45 for it. It stings, but I do believe they are not going to be made in as high quantities. A little harder to get. So then Assortment Wave 1, Figure Assortment Wave 1, is going to be Big Boa, Quick Kick, Techno Viper, and Airborne. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at like all these sites at G.I. Joe Classified, Big Bad Toy Store, or I was recently on GameStop, all the stuff coming seems so much more exciting than what we already have. But maybe that's just okay, I got it. We've been there, done that. I want the new stuff. But the new stuff seems so much more exciting. Am I wrong? Is my opinion there? Okay, then we're going to get the Soldier 60th, the 2 of them coming. Then we have the Retro Collection Wave with Scarlet, Duke, and Rakondo. It's fun that they put in the code names with it. Scarlet was Smurfette, Duke was Papa, and Rakondo was Gargamel, which I would have never guessed that. But so then Metalhead's coming, and then what's coming out after that is Astro, George, Jane, and Pebbles. So for whatever you think those are, who would Pebbles be? That would be interesting. And then Retro, Tudor, All-Star, and Brainy. So I guess we can all guess on what all that's going to be. Somewhere in there, no, I don't know. And then we have other is the Muttley Pet. And then we have Blossom, Buttercup, Bam, Betty, Elroy, Judy. I have no idea what these code names are, but Casey, Azrael, OCCY, a lot of stuff coming along the way. I'm hoping Tuesday is not just Star Wars. We get more G.I. Joe. We get some Transformers on the live stream. Okay, we got 2 more of these crossovers, and this literally is, it feels like it's not much of a crossover. It is just Beastman with samurai gear. I mean, would you call that a crossover? I mean, you can, I guess, but there it is. It's the Turtles of Grayskull Beastman. There's the packaging and everything that's going on with it. Now, I've passed on these. I've seen them in person at the store, and I've passed on them. And I guess it's not for me, so I should feel better knowing that it's for someone that really wants it's picking it up. And then here we go with the Slaker. People call it Slacker. The evil cybernetic snapping turtle Slash. Yeah. Still cool. It's interesting. I mean, you look at it, you see it Slash. And then there's a Build-A-Figure Metal Botto. That's probably the coolest one. All right, so I absolutely love this. And here's the way I feel about this retro collection. I feel 50%. I like half of what they've done. The other half I don't really care about. Now, I'm not mad at it or upset about it. It's just it doesn't get me excited. Half of it does, and half of it doesn't. But you know what would get me excited is if the backs of the card backs literally looked like this. I probably would go track them all down to make sure I had them all. But they don't look like this. I mean, it's in my mind, I'm just confused. Like, what if they put out? I mean, I'm confused. I don't get it. Number them all. Do it like they did back in the day. This would probably realign collectors with retro. And the truth be told, I mean, I'm not much into the vintage collection so much anymore. I'm ultra picking and choosing at $17 a figure. I pick and choose which ones show up at Ollie's. That's how I pick and choose. But this is something that I would shell out the $12 to stick up with it, to pick up with it, or whatever, if we could keep up with it like this. So it would be awesome to have this as card backs. Obviously, the orientation would be a little different, but it is exciting to see this. All right, so I don't really care to buy clones, so I never even bothered to pre-order this. But here's the story as it is written, as I am seeing it. They originally came up on Target for a 2-pack for $24.99, and that people ordered theirs. Now that they're starting to come into stock, the price is getting fixed to the appropriate $44.99. And people are being charged for shipping on it, even though they've ordered enough that they should clear the shipping amount. If you have the red card, free shipping on anything. You order something for $5, it ships free. But anyway, if you have a red card, I get no kickbacks on it. It's just my wife has the red card and she orders everything from Target. It's easy. But here's the thing. This whole $44.99 bit, they auto-corrected it once it came into stock and they charged you. And people are having a lot of problems with this. It's crazy, but a lot of people thought they got a good deal or they got over, and now they're getting screwed. Right, so it looks like we are getting some clearance deals going on over at Walmart.com. We've got Boba Fett. These are Black Series, by the way. Boba Fett, Jedi Ruins, Throne Room Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett Python. $12.97, $17.90, $13.99, and then Credit Collection Boba Fett for $16. And with this, going over to the Walmart.com to get these if you're into them, if you missed them, if you want to get all the different versions. All right, so it turns out that the Rey movie is going to be delayed indefinitely. In fact, the Rey movie isn't actually called the Rey movie. It's got another title, working title or something. But evidently it has something to do with the director and all that. Now, I don't have to get my hands dirty and talk about it. There's another Mike out there, Mike 1 or Mike 0 or something like that. Now, he gets his hands dirty every day talking about this, so I don't really need to. But he makes literally a video every day talking about this. But anyhow, that movie doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It might not ever happen. Who knows? But anyhow, I'm curious about the future of any and all Star Wars content. And of course, the January 23rd fan stream, they call it. But I'm under the understanding it's not just going to be Star Wars and that's it. I thought they were going to be covering all the franchises this date, and then there were going to be pre-orders coming up either later that day or on the 24th. But we'll see on the 23rd. If it's just Star Wars, then they've been saving up a lot for this event, and I hope that it doesn't disappoint, but it probably will, sadly. I do want to say, though, if you're not really happy with what's going on with Hasbro Star Wars, well, there's Stan Solo making the Stan Solo stuff out there. I think they're making a Darth Vader removable helmet. They're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of great things with the Star Wars franchise, making it in Kenner style. There's also the Next 17, and you can check that out at next17.com. And I believe he's got an Etsy store now, which is another way to buy. And really cool stuff that they're making. You're getting lots of the Cantina aliens and really drilling down on stuff that I would have liked to have seen from Kenner. And I'm definitely going to be buying some of these pretty soon. And then there's Pro Custom Figures, who is making some really cool stuff. Some unreleased figures that were planned for the Ewoks and Droids line, never got made. And some really cool stuff going on out there if you're not happy with what Hasbro's doing. So let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What else is going on out there that I missed? What other cool stuff is there? I'd like to know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Goddamn, hang her out.